The account of Daniel in the lion's den is recorded in chapter 6 of the book of Daniel. It is one of the most dramatic narratives in the Hebrew Bible, portraying political jealousy, royal power, legal manipulation, and unwavering faith under life-threatening pressure. While often presented as a simple children's story about courage, the text itself reveals a far more layered historical and theological moment. The setting takes place during the rule of Darius the Mede, who is described as governing the kingdom after the fall of Babylon. Historically, the exact identity of Darius the Mede has been debated by scholars. Some suggest he may correspond to a regional governor under Cyrus the Great of Persia, while others see him as a literary representation of transitional leadership between Babylonian and Persian rule. Regardless of historical specifics, the narrative reflects the administrative structure of the Persian Empire, which was known for its system of satraps and regional officials. According to the text, Darius appoints 120 satraps to rule throughout the kingdom and places 3 administrators over them, one of whom is Daniel. Daniel distinguishes himself through exceptional qualities and integrity, and the king plans to set him over the entire kingdom. This promotion creates resentment among the other officials. They attempt to find grounds for complaint against Daniel in his work, but they cannot find corruption or negligence. The text emphasizes that Daniel is trustworthy and faithful in his duties. Unable to accuse him of administrative wrongdoing, Daniel's rivals target his religious devotion. They recognize that his loyalty to God is consistent and visible. Therefore, they persuade King Darius to issue a decree. For 30 days, anyone who prays to any god or human being except the king will be thrown into a den of lions. The law, according to the Medes and Persians, cannot be altered once established. This detail highlights the rigidity of imperial legal systems and sets the trap. Daniel's response is striking. When he learns of the decree, he does not protest publicly or attempt political maneuvering. Instead, he returns home, opens his windows toward Jerusalem, as was his custom, and prays 3 times a day, giving thanks to God. This detail shows that Daniel does not begin praying in defiance. He continues his regular practice, despite the danger. His faith is habitual, not reactive. As expected, the conspirators catch Daniel praying and bring charges before the king. Darius is distressed. The text makes clear that the king respects Daniel and attempts to find a way to rescue him, but the law cannot be revoked. This tension reveals that even absolute rulers are bound by their own decrees. At sunset, Daniel is brought to the lion's den. The king expresses hope, saying, "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you." A stone is placed over the mouth of the den and sealed with the king's signet ring to prevent tampering. This sealing underscores the finality of the sentence. The lion's den itself reflects a common method of execution in the ancient Near East. Lions were symbols of royal power and dominance, often kept in captivity by rulers. Being thrown into such a den would normally result in immediate death. The text does not describe the night in detail, but it emphasizes the king's anxiety. Darius spends the night fasting and cannot sleep. At dawn, the king hurries to the den and calls out to Daniel with concern. Daniel responds calmly, stating that God sent an angel to shut the lions' mouths, and that he was found innocent before God and the king. Daniel is lifted from the den, and no wound is found on him, because he trusted in his God. The narrative clearly attributes his survival to divine intervention. Afterward, the king orders that the men who falsely accused Daniel be thrown into the den, along with their families. The text reports that before they reach the floor of the den, the lions overpower them. This detail reinforces the reality of the threat Daniel faced and eliminates the possibility that the lions were weak or inactive. Darius then issues a new decree, praising Daniel's God as living and enduring forever. This proclamation extends throughout the kingdom and portrays the event as a demonstration of divine sovereignty, even within a foreign empire. From a historical standpoint, the narrative reflects themes consistent with Jewish life in exile, maintaining identity under foreign rule, navigating political systems, and facing persecution for religious conviction. While archaeological evidence cannot confirm the specific event, the administrative structure and legal customs described align with known aspects of Persian governance. Theologically, the story emphasizes several themes. First, integrity in daily life prepares individuals for moments of crisis. Daniel's faith was not sudden heroism. It was consistent devotion. Second, the narrative presents divine protection not as automatic immunity from danger, but as presence within it. Daniel was still thrown into the den. The miracle occurs inside the threat, not before it. It is also important to note that the text does not promise that all faithful individuals will be physically rescued from harm. Rather, it presents a specific instance in which deliverance serves a larger purpose, demonstrating God's authority and vindicating innocence. My personal opinion is that this story resonates because it addresses universal human experience, the pressure to compromise values for safety or advancement. Daniel's example shows quiet courage rather than dramatic rebellion. He does not attack the king, nor does he hide his faith. He simply remains consistent. What strikes me most is the calmness of his response. There is no panic recorded, only trust. To me, the lion's den symbolizes any environment where integrity is tested under extreme pressure. Whether one views the event as literal miracle or theological narrative, shaped to express faith in exile, its enduring power lies in the idea that conviction and character matter most when circumstances are hostile. Daniel's survival becomes secondary to his steadfastness. The real victory occurs before the den is ever entered. It happens when he chooses faithfulness over fear.